Hi, my name is Mark Moffat. I'm telling you about today a report I had published in Ecology and Evolution in April 2026 concerning a ant species, unnamed, that cleans off other ants for a living. An unusual thing to do. And the story is quite parallel to cleaning fish and their activities in cleaning other species of fish in the ocean. So it was a lot of fun to make these observations. I, in fact, was in the backyard of a B&B in Portal, Arizona when I saw this. Portal, Arizona is the grand central for studying new kinds of ant behaviors in North America. All kinds of discoveries have been made there. And that morning was just sipping my coffee in the backyard when I looked down to see this tiny kind of ant walk aboard a larger ant, a harvester ant, and nibble and lick it. And I realized that this was happening again and again. This was 20 years ago, 2006, and I never published it because I figured I needed to go back and find out what advantages were happening, what was the reason for this kind of behavior. But then recently, looking at the literature on cleaning fish, I realized that that was not particularly necessary because most cleaning fish are called cleaning fish based on the fact that the larger fish that wants to be cleaned seeks out the cleaners and permits them to do the cleaning, submits to the cleaning. And that's exactly what my ants were doing. I had those conclusions already well set. Why they're doing it remains an open question in many cases. It's been studied well for certain kinds of cleaning fish, and I suspect for the ants, the cleaner is getting some nutrients on the surface of the ants, and the cleaned ants is probably having bacteria and other things removed that might be harmful to it. There could be other explanations. In any case, I ended up publishing this in Ecology and Evolution, thanks to Alan Moore and Arlie Muth. As one of their nature notes, one of the few places that you can publish short reports without a lot of numerical data. Since my report was essentially pretty complete, what I had in fact were photographs showing every step of this interaction, which really is the documentation one needed. And this kind of discovery intrigues me because it's something that occurs again and again, I think, for various people. These kinds of things happen by chance. You're not expecting these discoveries, and they're quite fun for the field biologist. So I can remember a couple other cases. I was in Bali on a tour when I looked down in this temple to see a supposedly very rare ant called, at the time, Trigonagaster. And I just dropped to the floor aghast because a guy named Bill Brown had told me I'd never find it. They're impossible. You'd have to go to remote places. But here it was in the middle of a temple grounds, and I started feeding it some bait because as a good ant researcher, I keep some sugar in my pocket for these kinds of emergencies. And as the ants fed, another species of Trigonagaster showed up. So I ended up with two kinds in this one place. Another example that was fun was in Borneo. I was exhausted walking along all day, and I just plopped to the ground, and my eyes were just seeing a haze. And when they cleared, I looked over and I saw an ant walk up to another ant and chop off its leg, and then do that with another leg. And it turned out this was an ant in the genus Lophomyrmex, which had never been studied before. These ants, in fact, have jaws that look like saw blades, and they go along simply slicing their enemies apart. Pretty cool stuff. So, here again, me just sipping some coffee in the backyard, finding a new discovery. Just keep your eyes open. You never know what you're going to see.